Hi subscribers and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dominic James Murray, CEO and founder here at Cameron James. Okay, today we're going to be talking about should you work with a commission-based advisor or should you work with a fee-based advisor? Okay, let's break it down straight away. What is a commission-based advisor? A commission-based advisor is where they will provide you with financial advice and they will be remunerated by the firms which they place your business with. Say for example, you meet shiny financial advisor in Dubai or wherever you might be. He says to you, oh yeah, no problem. There isn't going to be any initial charges for you. It's all going to come out of the marketing budgets of the companies I place you with. That's basically code word for commission. They will then place you into product XYZ. You will say, sign the paperwork, move into that product. That product will then typically lock you in for a fixed period of say 5, 8 or 10 years, and then they will pay a commission to the financial advisor in order for introducing that business. The reason they can pay the commission is you're locked in for 5, 8 or 10 years. So they're guaranteed to make their money from you. Maybe their charges are 1.5% per annum, 5, 8, 10 times 1.5 per annum. Then they could maybe, say for example, on an 8-year model, they may be making 14% out of you over the course, 12% out of you at 1.5% over 8 years. That means they can afford to pay out the initial advisor, say an 8% commission. The problem with this model is, what happens if the advice is not good? What happens if you don't like the product? What happens if the performance is bad? You call your financial advisor. Well, unless your financial advisor is a really great person, they're probably unlikely to service you or look after you as well as if you were paying them slowly on an annual basis. If you compare the same model with a fee-based advisor like Cameron James, you come through and say, hi Dominic, this is my situation, this is the pension pot I'd like to transfer. We will charge you an initial transfer fee of 1, 2 or 3% for that transfer, plus a fixed DB report fee if it's a final salary piece of advice. Then on an annual basis, we will charge you 1% per annum for our advice and for our services. However, if at any point you're unhappy with our advice and services, you can say, bye Dominic, bye Cameron James, I'm going to terminate my relationship and transfer the 1% to another advisory firm because I think your service is rubbish. If you actually look at the two models as well, if you're a long-term advisory firm, working as a fee-based firm can actually be more profitable than working as a commission-based firm. With a commission-based firm, they get 8% upfront on day one. However, they've locked you normally into an inferior product with poor quality investment solutions and generally not as good performance. If you work with a fee-based model, okay, you paid a 1, 2 or 3% setup fee on the way in, you then pay 1% per annum. If you look at those two situations and run it for 10 years, this guy made, or this female, made 10% or 8% commission if they would be at 8% on the first deal. Whilst over here, say it was a 2% setup fee and then 1% per annum for 8 years, we would actually earn 10% over the course of that 8-year period. But the difference is you're not paying the 10% up front. You're paying it each and every year that you're happy with our service, you're happy with the performance. Now, clients are not always happy with performance. If we have market volatility like early 2020 or early 2022, we can't control what happens in the market. We can put together a portfolio allocation which is in line with your risk profile. Generally speaking, markets go up over the course of time, but past performance is no guide to future performance. But in terms of everything else, service, etc., are you happy with it? Whilst if you're a commission-based person, if you're not happy with it, there's very little you can do. And if you want to leave that structure, that bond, that product they've placed you in, you normally have to pay a very high exit penalty to get out. Effectively, the bond provider will say to you, well, hang on a minute, your terms and conditions, you have an 8-year contract with us. If you want to break the 8-year contract, you'll have to pay all your 8 years worth of fees and charges now, which is the best deal ever in history for them. Maybe if you leave after 4 years, they don't even have to service you for the other 4 years and they still get paid all their money. And remember, the financial advisor at the beginning still got paid all of his money. Now, this type of fee-based, commission-based structure and argument is not as relevant as it was 5 years ago. When I started Cameron James, this was really at the forefront. We were in the minority of financial advisors that were working on a transparent fee basis. Nearly everyone else was still working on a commission, and it was very difficult for those advisors to try and wean themselves off these very high commissions. Imagine you do a pension transfer for £1 million for a client, and you're getting an 8% commission from the bond provider that you place it with. That's £80,000. Now, the financial advisor, unless he's a one-man band and running his own outfit, he's never going to get all that £80,000. His regulator, his company, his boss probably, his line manager, everyone will get a piece of a pie along the way. But that financial advisor is still going to earn potentially what most people might earn in 1 year as a salary doing one deal for you, which might take them a couple of months to get done. I don't personally think £80,000 for doing a pension transfer is a very good use of money. And whilst you could argue, yeah, but you're paying for 8 years of service from that financial advisor, you're then putting yourself at risk. What happens if that financial advisor returns home? Their partner doesn't like the country they've moved to, something happens with their kids, or maybe they don't even like the career anymore, maybe they're going to change path, maybe they're going to get hit by a bus. You literally have no idea what can happen in the future. So I think it's always far better and safer doing £1 million pension transfer and paying at Cameron James £1 million pension transfer. We have a 1% initial setup fee. That's £10,000 on day one that you pay us, but you're not locked in to having to guarantee to pay us the rest of the money. You only pay us the rest of the money if our service is good. So I think I started this off with a question, which is better, commission-based advice versus fee-based advice? I hope from the past 5 minutes of talking, I've been able to provide some insight for you to make your own decisions on that, but be really, really careful, guys. I've got some other videos here about how you can try to spot scams and spot commissions in the industry. Just be careful. Always be transparent with your financial advisor. It's your money, stay in control. Ask them, are you receiving any fees or commissions outside of what you recommended here that you're charging me? In terms of an ongoing basis, what is the TER of the underlying portfolio? What is the fund or the portfolio they're using? Are they receiving soft or back-ended commissions from the providers or from the fund managers they're placing you with? Are they placing you with esoteric companies that you've never heard before? Or are they using household names such as Vanguard, Fidelity, BlackRock, iShares, etc.? If you hear any of these names, it basically means your financial advisor cannot be ripping you off, because these firms do not offer back-ended and commission-based and indemnified commission plans because they don't need to. They're some of the biggest institutions in the world, and everyone wants to give them the money because they're either the cheapest or the best performing asset managers, compared to XYZ fund that you've never heard of before. And it's these XYZ funds that pay advisors an extra commission, and this is the real Houdini's box letting it out. Often a financial advisor can get the 8% commission from the bond, then on top of that they can get further commission by using a structured product or certain underlying funds to maybe get another 5 or 6% commission. So on top of the 8%, they could then be on 14%. If we go back to our £1 million pension transfer, that's £140,000 generated in commission that you might not have any idea about, or it's hidden so far in the buried deep in the paperwork that you can't find it. This is actually one of the many reasons many of our clients get so close to the end of their CETVs, because they've been working with another financial advisory firm, they're about to sign the final round of paperwork, and thank God regulation in a lot of markets inside the UK now has come up, and it asks financial advisors to transparently say how much they will be earning. They don't always put it on page one though, where you can easily see it. It will be buried deep in the detail. Some clients find it though, come to us and say, I was about to go with these guys, I found out that I think they're cowboys or they're sharky, there was these huge commissions that I wasn't sure about. So be very, very careful. Whenever you see no advice fee to your advisor, or the advice is free, or it's paid by the marketing budget of some company, be very careful, be wary. Doesn't mean that financial advisor is a bad person. Doesn't mean they're even going to provide you with bad financial advice on an ongoing basis. Perhaps the performance of them could be brilliant. But in my professional opinion, I've seen it way too many times. The advisor stops servicing, the portfolio goes down in value, doesn't have good management. The client ends up coming away and saying, the name of the SIP or the name of the cure-up with the business, oh, they're awful. I lost loads of money with XYZ trustee. Not really. The trustee just did their job as trustee. You signed the paperwork to say you wanted to invest in that bond. You signed the paperwork to say you wanted to invest in that fund. So you need to always ensure that, generally speaking, where there's bad advice, it normally comes down to the financial advisor and not the actual trustee or the platform or bond provider they work with. So here at Cameron James, we only work with all of our clients on a transparent fee basis. We will nearly always use a platform which basically bans any form of commission, irrelevant of where you're living in the world. In the UK, commission was banned in 2012. Outside of the UK, it's still a bit of the Wild West in terms of commission. The only time we might utilize an offshore bond is where a client is saying to us, okay, there's certain offshore bond models you can use that have a very small upfront cost and then very low ongoing charges. However, most of our clients prefer to stick with an FCA regulated platform and forego any small savings they might make. Again, if you go back to the £1 million example, if you grow that pension pot over 5, 10, 15, 20 years at a growth rate of say 9, 10, 11, 12% per annum, which for a balanced portfolio or a balanced adventurous portfolio of 65, 75% equity is more than achievable, whether you end up with 3 million or 2.94 million doesn't really make that much difference. What most clients are looking for is security, and the FCA, in my opinion, is the most secure regulator to work with for protection. Guys, if you have any questions or you want to book in and talk about scams, commissions, fees, you can go to the section below in the description to book yourself in for a time and a date which is most suitable for yourself. You can also just drop me a WhatsApp or an email on my email address, dominic.murray@cjfinance.co.uk, which is in the description below. And as always, please like, subscribe, and share the channel to let us know that our content is valuable for you as the user. Thank you very much, guys, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. And as always, take care with your UK pension assets.